係夠人數喺度。先各位申報大家嘅有冇利益衝突喺度？就我先申報，我係代表立法會喺 Council 同埋 Court 嘅葉樹時間係香
港大學校務委員會委員。
我勁啲嘅。
好，咁我哋係申報咗啦，咁啊選主席啦，我理他。咁啦，陣間
我代住石議員做。係
有冇和議？
喂，唔和議就你做㗎啦。
咁咪
我和議。
Alan 好 ，Alan， 你可唔可以做主席啊？
係啊。
冇人同你爭，死得拗晒。
咁啦，因為我又唔係好接受到，因為點解？因為我係要開會啊，跟住，但係呢個應該一個有冇人肯 volunteer？ 如果冇嚇，
我9點鐘要走啊。
9點鐘走係啊，佢又要9點鐘走，你又9點鐘走嚇。
我都係。
咁啊唔係，我就睇下而家我而家抌緊時間，睇下我有幾個人入嚟。如果冇咧，我就要選主席，咁冇又唔可以冇主席嘅喎。我冇講，我 declare 咗，因為non-pecuniary 嘅嚇。咁但係我驚住撞咗我啲時間啫。好啊，好啦，我接受啦。唔該你請啲官員入嚟，唔係官員，唔係香港大代表入嚟啦。Alan 係9點鐘去開 Selectcom。OK， Martin 就9點鐘啊。咁我叫咗佢哋介紹個 paper， 咁你哋可以好嘛？Hi, Professor, please.咁我哋介紹張 paper 先啦。歡迎各位代表香港大學嘅教授同埋registrar 喺度嚇。就我哋而家要開會，因為我哋有啲成員係9點鐘咧就要離開呢度，所以我想你哋借呢個機會咧去介紹下你今日個文件好唔好嚇？邊個？Henry 啊？
或者我介紹下今次我哋要求修訂規程嘅主要嘅目的。就主要係香港大學嘅條例嗰個規程3，就係咧就即係我哋每一次要頒發新嘅學位咧，我哋就要即係修改呢個規程嘅。咁呢次我哋想加入3個新嘅學位，一個就係文科碩士，英語第2語言教學，就係 Master of Arts in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages。第二個就臨床藥劑學碩士。Master of Clinical Pharmacy， 第三個咧係表達藝術治療碩士 ，Master of Expressive Arts Therapy。咁呢啲修訂規程嘅內容咧，係又經過香港大學嘅有學系、學院、教務委員會、校務委員會同埋校董會通過。咁我哋都有諮詢過教育局同埋法律草擬專員。咁法律草擬專員俾咗啲意見我哋已經都加入咗喺嗰個修訂規程之中。咁今日我哋有3位對於呢個課程即係有關嘅同事，一位就係我哋嘅教育學院嘅院長 Professor Andrews， 另外一位就係藥理及藥劑學系嘅主任黃志基教授，同埋社會工作個社會行政學系嘅副教授何天雄博士。咁佢哋就三位就會解釋下佢哋呢個課程啊，同埋回答議員對呢個課程要提出嘅問題。
好，
多謝主席。
葉議員，多謝你賜俾我呢個機會。Okay, Professor, sorry. Can you give a brief rundown or an explanation of your master degrees?
Yes, if I can just briefly introduce them, the MA in TESOL. This is a new programme which is a major initiative for us because it's the first time that we've actually run a programme at master's level in collaboration with another faculty, and that's why it needed to be proposed as a brand new programme. In previous years, over a number of years, we have developed under our Master of Education programme a number of different specialisms, but in this case, because this is a programme which we're offering in collaboration with another faculty, it needed to be proposed as a separate programme. And so we've proposed this Master of Arts in Teaching English to Speakers Other Language, which we are running with the Centre for Applied English Studies in the Faculty of Arts. And it represented for us an opportunity to work with another area of the university which has complementary expertise in the area of English as a second and foreign language. It's a programme which specifically targets full-time students. Our Master in Education programme started as a UGC-funded programme entirely for part-time students. Then, as it's gone through the transformation from mixed mode to self-funded, we've also admitted full-time students onto that programme. But this MA programme is a new programme. It's entirely full-time, and it's intended to target students from outside Hong Kong. One of the reasons for that is that we see our mission as being to serve continuing professional development, not just within the Hong Kong context, but more widely. And also we want to try and bring more international or non-Hong Kong students into our faculty, because our undergraduate programmes are very, very locally focused, and it's one of our aims to try and enrich the overall diversity of the experience within our faculty by having more students from outside Hong Kong with us. So that was one of the prime motivations. And the programme very much fills a niche which our existing Master in Education programmes in relation to teaching English as a foreign language don't meet. So that was the rationale for the proposal of this programme.
Okay, 各位同事，等我另外啲香港大學教授講完先問問題，好唔好啊？咁咧，因為有啲要走，等你哋機會聽聽。黃教授。
我哋呢一個嘅 Master of Clinical Pharmacy 呢個 program 咧係一個新嘅 program。咁我諗大家都知一個
一係講晒中文，一係講英文。我哋呢度即係唔係好難翻譯嗰啲嚇。
Okay, that's fine.
可以兩個都講。
Yeah, I'm going to use English. The Master of Clinical Pharmacy program is a brand new program. As what we know, the medicine that we use nowadays getting more and more advanced and more expensive. So we need the expert in the medicine to help us to use the medicine better. And also the second problem that we are facing is the aging population. It's a worldwide problem. So indeed, because of these two problems, the healthcare profession, they need to progress further in the education of the medicine side of it and how to use medicine. And so the University of Hong Kong already set up the Bachelor of Pharmacy degree a few years ago. And so it's a lateral progression that we provide a Master of Clinical Pharmacy so that we can actually teach our pharmacists the advanced skills of how to use the medicine. And so the program is specifically only for the Hong Kong registered pharmacists. So no other people can be admitted to it without the Hong Kong registration as a pharmacist in Hong Kong. And it is only do it in part-time because, again, it's specifically to help the local pharmacists to upgrade their skills. And majority of our students are from HA. And also because it's the requirement for the HA for the junior pharmacists, what we call them the resident pharmacists, to be progressed into pharmacists, they have to have a master degree and preferably it would be in Master of Clinical Pharmacy. So we are basically helping the local community to upgrade their knowledge and to help them to provide the service to the local hospital, and including the HA and also the hospital in the private settings. It's fully self-funded by the student themselves. And so the program, we use a lot of practitioners that they have advanced practice, and so that they can actually transfer the skills to our students. And also we invite overseas professors and lecturers to give distant learning, and sometimes they actually fly here to actually transfer the skill. So this is the essence of the program.
That's it. Thank you, Professor Wong. 想請何博士可以介紹你嗰個碩士。
我嘗試用中文嚇。其實呢個表達藝術治療碩士咧係一個新嘅課程嚟嘅，咁佢亦都係亞洲區咧基本上係第一個嘅專業嘅課程，係一個全職嘅話咧讀咧就係2年，兼讀嘅話咧係3年嘅一個課程。咁呢個課程嘅設立咧就係其實咧就係基於我哋好多年嘅為社會為人類服務嘅時候，我哋發覺到咧語言唔係唯一可以溝通到同埋表達到嘅一個方式。咁所以咧，但係藝術咧就可以做到好多溝通表達嘅一個媒介。咁表達藝術治療呢一樣嘢咧，其實咧就係講緊我哋用唔同嘅藝術表達方式，包括音樂啦、舞蹈啦、戲劇啦、繪畫啦，甚至係詩歌去表達、去溝通，而令到咧我哋係有一啲嘅深層次嘅問題啦，或者係一啲成長嘅問題可以得到解決嘅。咁呢一個課程嘅設立咧，喺香港大學嚟講咧，有幾個好重要嘅特點嘅。咁其中一個咧就係除咗係因應我哋嗰個市場個需求啦，因為特別係有一啲嘅我哋叫做一啲嘅client group 啊，叫做人群，譬如係一啲有特別需要嘅學童啦，自閉啊，或者係老人家啊，甚至係一啲嘅精神病啊等等咧，佢哋需要用一啲方法去溝通嘅。咁因為呢一個嘅服務咧係特別能夠咧係針對呢啲人群。咁所以咧呢個課程咧係好需要係設立嘅喺香港呢個環境裏邊。咁第二個咧就係通過呢個課程嘅設立咧，其實亦都可以促進咧大學本身作為一個學術研究機構喺呢一方面嘅一個研究，進而咧可以希望推行到一個叫做實證為本嘅一個服務嘅。咁第三個咧就係特別喺香港大學裏邊咧，我哋係一個中西文化交流嘅一個學府嚟嘅。咁正係咁樣咧，表達藝術治療其實呢一樣嘢係西方發源嘅。咁我哋如果能夠加入我哋好多嘅中國或者係傳統嘅東方嘅一個文化情緒咧，能夠更加好咁樣係做到一個中西嘅結合、東西嘅結合，係可以幫到我哋本地嘅人群，係一個好大嘅特色嚟嘅。
多謝晒何教授。或者咁，我哋問問題葉議員，你介唔介意俾咗佢2個9點前要走嘅議員先啊？睇下佢哋問問題。如果冇問題，Alan 有冇問題？因為你夠冇。葉議員 ，the floor is yours。
OK。
呢問題。
OK。
有冇問？
我想問咧幾個課程咧其實咧即係嗰個學額係幾多咧？可唔可以即係講講？第二咧就係呢3個課程咧，其實都係一啲嘅學術課程啦，但係亦都係一啲專業嘅課程嚟嘅，即係一啲專業訓練。咁3種課程培養出嚟咧，都係有一定嘅技術。咁佢哋會唔會涉及到呢個實習嘅問題啦？仲有咧，佢哋會唔會牽涉到專業資格嘅呢個係問題？係
3個問題。Henry， 你想答先定係等佢哋？
我相信都係俾翻我哋啲同事。
好啊。Professor Andrews, you'll be the first one to answer Mr. Yip's, the Honourable Yip's question.
Yes, it went, in terms of the cohort size, the first cohort would be 30.
13.
Yes, and it's not intended that this should have any, certainly for the MA TESOL, it's not intended to be a professional qualification in any sense. I mean, there is no practicum attached to the program as yet. It's purely a knowledge-based program, so it's not a professional qualification in that sense at all.
Understand.
Professor Wong。
我哋第一班咧就收咗19個人，咁跟住咧就收咗大約30個人，咁所以其實我哋嘅容量咧係大約20到30個，咁因為我哋要有巡訪嘅，咁因為我哋會帶啲學生上去巡訪，咁所以其實我哋收嘅學生人數咧一定有一個限制嘅，如果唔係我哋冇辦法做得到呢樣嘢。咁同埋另外一樣嘢就係我哋會亦都會帶佢哋去到香港大學深圳醫院，等佢哋去見即係喺中國嘅實習方法。咁所以我哋即係我哋要能夠做得到嘅咧，就係已經限制住一個人數。你話有冇一個專業資格咧？因為其實喺香港而家嘅法例裏邊咧嘅專業資格咧，只係得一個嘅啫，就係香港註冊藥劑師。咁但係喺一個喺醫管局裏邊咧，就需要一定要有一個碩士學位，先至可以做一個正式嘅藥劑師。如果唔係之前咧，佢哋就係啲即係我哋叫 resident pharmacist， 咁嗰啲就係低等啲、即係低層少少嘅。咁所以點解嗰個碩士學位係對佢哋咁重要咯？
何博士。
係我哋第1、2年嘅收生咧，就係23人嘅喺個課程裏邊。咁呢個課程係一個專業嘅課程，所以佢係需要實習嘅嚇。咁實習之後咧，實習大概係500到750個鐘頭嚇。咁每一個學生都要。咁實習之後咧，其實咧我哋希望咧佢哋能夠響一個叫做國際表達藝術治療師嘅協會裏邊咧，可以攞到一個專業嘅資格。咁目前喺香港嚟講咧，就未有呢一個註冊嘅制度嘅。
好，議員有冇其他問題？
我想再問多少少咧，就係睇先。我頭先有個問題諗起，但係而家已經消失咗，可能要需要接受治療。
要調
嚇。今日暫時未有問題。
如果冇問題咧，Henry， 你可唔可以講講 law drafting， 即係法律個 DOJ 嗰邊咧，佢哋叫咗你改咩？改咗邊度？喺邊部分？你可以介紹好嗎？
佢主要係叫我哋改格式嘅問題，實際上我哋就要好即係要普通嘅方法，咁佢哋就要佢哋就喺幫我哋改咗啲嗰個我哋呈交嗰張嗰個文件嗰啲格式。咁就佢冇掂過我哋關於我哋啲學位嘅名咁樣。
如果大家冇問題，係議員。
個問題突然間翻嚟，可能
唔緊要。
主席，嗰個問題咧就係頭先剛才講到咧係嗰個clinical pharmacist， 即係呢個臨床藥劑師嗰度咧，就話咧係佢哋需要咧一個碩士嘅學位先至能夠升為正式嘅藥劑師嘅。咁除咗而家提供呢個新嘅課程之外咧，係咪已經有一啲嘅同樣嘅即係碩士課程係令到啲人可以通過香港嘅途徑係可以升到藥劑師？呢個就係想攞多啲資料嘅。
Professor Wong
其實香港中文大學同埋香港大學嘅 Space， 我唔記得 Space 中文名係乜啦嚇，即係我哋嘅校外進修課程，其實都有一個臨床藥劑學嘅碩士課程嘅。咁但係我哋嗰個課程嗰個基本構思同佢哋好唔同，因為我哋都好着重咧去到醫院裏邊去學習。咁其他嗰兩個嘅課程咧，大部分都係即係我教你聽。但係我哋個課程咧，就啲學生就要做好多佢哋自己要去揾一啲嘅 cases 啊，咁同我哋啲教授一齊去討論啊，咁同埋我哋都去用好多現代嘅科技啦，譬如佢哋可以喺屋企將佢哋啲 cases 去到 present 俾我哋，咁就免佢哋，因為佢哋全部都係做緊 full time 嘅全職嘅。咁就容許佢哋同我哋可以咁樣溝通咯嚇，咁所以其實就已經有呢啲 course 嘅。咁同埋另外一樣嘢，我都想補充一份點咧，就係譬如喺英國咧，其實佢哋個第一個 degree 咧就已經係 Master of Pharmacy 噶啦。咁如果你喺美國同埋加拿大咧，好多時佢第一個 degree 咧已經係 Doctor in Pharmacy 噶啦。咁但係我哋香港咧都仲係 Bachelor in Pharmacy。 咁所以係有一個大嘅需要咧，係有呢啲 professional training。
係跟住仲有冇第二問題啊？唔係跟住咧就係 Alan 梁啊。
Thank you, Chairman. I have one small question for Professor Andrews. Professor did mention that the program of the Master of Arts in Teaching English to speakers of other languages was catered for students from outside Hong Kong. I wonder if the professor could clarify for us how large is the catchment area meant to be? You are catching students from where?
Professor Andrews.
Thank you for the question. The first cohort of students are all from the mainland. We hope, and it's very much the aim, that it should be the whole of the region rather than from the mainland. One of the difficulties of achieving that goal is the cost of the programme. So one of the things that we're trying to do is set up a series of scholarships which will make it more accessible to students from other parts of the region. But at the moment, the first cohort is from the mainland.
Can you explain further that does this affect the resources that should have been given to the local university, and then you're spending this other money for the outside Hong Kong cohorts?
Well, I think it just reflects the challenge that we have for our to achieve the mission that we would like to achieve. I mean, certainly from my point of view as Dean of the Faculty, one of the things that I see as very much our mission is to aid capacity building in the region. That's something that I'm very, very committed to, but it's something that is very difficult to achieve because we have to charge a certain fee level for our self-funded programs, and so the only way we can actually realise that goal is to find other ways to support the study of students who are coming from backgrounds where they don't have the resources to pay the full fee, and so this is something that we're trying to set up through. I mean, we've already set up some donations to help support scholarship funds for students from the region more widely, but I think it's a challenge which we can't avoid with the way we have to charge for self-funded programs.
Yes, but then the question is, how does this fulfill the objective of an integration of local and overseas students to that extent? Because you're purely, as you said, purely that we have to, for this design for the non-Hong Kong students, but in terms of the wider purpose is to have a better understanding between Hong Kong and non-Hong Kong students.
Well, indeed. Well, in answer to that question, I mean, the students who come on this programme are simply part of one programme within a very, very large range of master's level programmes. So they become part of a community of students. I mean, we have nearly 400 master's students in our faculty who are a mixture of full-time and part-time, and the part-time ones are obviously all local. The full-time ones come from not just from the mainland, because we have been able through scholarships and so on to support people from other. So they form an integrated community of postgraduate students within the faculty.
So for this course, sorry, I just want to follow.
No, very useful, very helpful.
For this course, there is First Henry, that there is a 20% limitation for overseas students. Does this apply to this course, or or individual courses? That in the wider context, the 20% rule is always being within that rule.
It's for undergraduate only.
For undergraduate
and in Hong Kong, we have policy that we use 10% for mainland students and 10% for overseas students. So that's our policy for undergraduate. There's no restriction for top postgraduate. But the basic principle is that it must be self-funded. We must not use UGC money for the self-funded program. So when they calculate the fees, we have been very careful about the self-funding principle. So in a way, we are not really using UGC resources for any TPG program.
黃議員，我幫你問咗你最中意問嘅問題，就係關於會唔會攞到香港學生嗰個資源喺度。陣間你可以睇翻個 record 嗰度，你有冇需要 Alan 有冇第二啲問題
？If I could just have a last follow-up, do I understand from the good professor that this program is exclusively for students from outside Hong Kong. So even if a local student is applying for admission to the Master of Arts in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages program, he or she would not be accepted. Is that the idea?
Professor Andrews.
Well, thank you. I probably should have set this in context. I mean, we already have within our faculty 2 Master of Education specialisms which are catering for the local needs. We have a Master of Education in English Language Education and a Master of Education in English Language Studies, and the latter of those is specifically related to fulfilling scholar requirements for helping serving teachers become subject knowledge trained. And the Centre for Applied English Studies, with whom we partner, they have a Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics, which is also serving the local needs. So we have already 3 existing programmes which fulfil different needs within the professional development of the local community. And one of the motivations for creating this programme was to try and clarify the differentiation of roles, so that if we had full-time students who wanted to study a master's in the area from outside Hong Kong, they could be directed towards the programme which would fit their needs rather than the other 3 which weren't specifically designed for them. So this really complements what we already offer for the professional development of the local community.
Thank you.
If I just follow, you really, Professor Andrews, you haven't really answered that question completely yet. The question is, if a Hong Kong student in search of knowledge wants to enter this course, are they being discriminated? knowledge have no boundary. But I mean, is that the prerequisite that they must be an overseas student?
Well, it's not a prerequisite. It's the way we market the programme. If a local student applies for that particular programme, we would advise them to have a look at the other programmes which we offer, which are more specifically designed for their needs, and encourage them to
their
apply.
Needs wouldn't be on their own choice rather than needs to be directed. I mean, that's the purpose of education. But the question is very simple. If a Hong Kong student have a desire to join the course, will they be discriminated? I mean, this is the question, Alan. Is that?
Well, to answer, I don't think there is anything in the regulations regarding this programme which says that it is exclusively for non-Hong Kong citizens. I mean, it's simply that in the spirit of academic advising, which informs everything that we do within the university about helping students choose the right thing for them when they've entered the university, we do the same when people apply for programmes. I mean, even with Hong Kong students who apply for the different programmes that we offer, if a student applies for the Master of Education in English Language Education and we think that actually what they need to do is the Master of Education in English Language Studies because they need to fulfil the scholar requirements, we will strongly advise them to move their application to the other programme because it's designed for them. And in the same spirit, we would do the same for this programme. So it doesn't say not for Hong Kong not for Hong Kong citizens. It's simply that's who the programme is designed with a different target audience in mind.
Okay. Any other question?
Well, Chairman, as you know, Chairman, I always defer to your wisdom. But for the record,
yes,
as I understand from the good professor, the answer to my question is if a local student insists on applying to this program, he or she will be considered for the program.
Fairly.
Well, it goes without saying, Chairman. But what the good professor was telling us had been this, that this local student would be advised to look at other programs which would fit them more. But if they insist, despite the very good counsel and advice that they get from the good professor, he or she will be considered.
Right. Is that the correct interpretation of your answers?
I think that is a correct interpretation. I don't think it's been put to the test as yet, but I think that's a correct interpretation of my answer indeed. Yes.
Professor Andrews. 係，跟住就係黃碧雲。
多謝主席，你頭先嘗試幫我問問題。
因為你唔喺度，我就唔好意思啫。我唔知係咪即係你不嬲問咗好多問題關於呢方面。
不過呢個問題就未到肉嘅。
咁留翻你喺度問。
咁我想問咧，呢3個新加入嘅master 咧係 taught master program， 即係授課式嘅碩士課程，定還是係研究式嘅課程？3個都係授課式嘅。碧雲佢頭先解釋咗，係真係好配合我遲咗係 taught 係授課式。授課式嘅 program， 咁所以咧就即係佢哋唔係 MPhil， 亦都唔係 PhD 嘅 program 嚟嘅，咁就係 self-finance 嘅。你答好嘛？即係答咗我哋有個 record 喺度嚇。咁即係其實頭先就你問呢條問題咧，其實就
因為我問佢咧有冇用到香港？我知道
佢就話係 self-finance self-funded， 唔會用於 GC 錢啊嘛。嗰度我聽到，即係但係咧而家係解答唔到我哋嘅 concern， 就係因為我哋而家 concern 就係好多 existing 嘅 research master program 或 PhD program。
我可以咁啊，我哋可以夾雜喺度啦。而家可以大家都可以用啦。趁方便，我唔想開多次會。
咁咧就係嗰啲咧就唔係 self-finance 嘅 program 嚟嘅 MPhil PhD。咁嗰啲咧就 funded by UGC，right？
Henry
係MPhil 同埋 PhD 嘅大部分係 funded by UGC 嘅，但係我哋都有啲可能係 self-funded 嘅，但係而家已經越嚟越少啦。咁人數事關 UGC funded 咧有一定嘅限制嘅，咁就我相信黃議員可能就關心就可能有好多非本地學生咁呢個係一個事實嚟嘅。主要理由咧就香港啲同學喺本科畢業以後咧唔係好中意繼續做研究嘅。咁我哋其實喺各方面我哋已經即係做咗好多功夫。好似同學喺最後一年咧，我哋揾老師同我哋講即係做研究有乜好處成咁樣咁所以但係本地學生都唔係好積極，咁所以我哋都收咗相當多數目嘅外來學生，但係我哋係盡量避免係從一個地方嚟，所以而家我哋過去嗰兩三年咧，我哋就喺即係喺南亞洲方面咧，我哋就做咗好多功夫，就係有印度巴基斯坦啲同學，我哋就鼓勵佢哋嚟香港咁我哋都係本地咧，我哋要繼續會努力，希望啲同學能夠知道即係做，即係佢哋通常嘅諗法就係香港啲大專大學數目少，佢覺得啲同學做咗研究嘅碩士或者博士咧就冇出路，咁呢個其實係錯嘅。我哋都有好多同學去咗，即係喺香港讀完以後咧，去外國就再讀博士後咁跟住佢有一個好嘅即係學術嘅方面嘅發展咁所以我哋係仲要做功夫，就都希望社會人士都即係幫我哋手，就係鼓勵喺香港學生繼續即係讀完本科以後就唔好個個都諗住要即刻即係出去揾錢成咁，可以有條件嘅話，我應該繼續再讀下即係研究嘅各位。
唔該你 Henry。
我即係我嘅關心咧就係即係當然我明白你講嗰個情況，因為我自己都喺理工大學教書。即係我關心咧就係話我哋用公帑咧嘅問題，即係點樣係叫做對香港呢一個嘅社群負責任咁解嘅啫。我唔係反對大學收非本地生嘅，我係反對咧就係非本地生同本地生咧佢嗰個嘅資助係一樣。但係我哋好多本地嘅學生咧，連入大學嘅機會咧都冇啊！即係政府係唔去資助好多即係 undergrad 嘅學生，或者讀 taught master 嘅本地生，但係咧就去資助好多唔係香港嘅學生去讀書。
或者依個一個政策嘅問題。
即係話嗱，我提過兩個 option， 一就係一係 set 個 cap 啦，即係唔好即係話收非本地生嘅人數多過本地生好多倍咁樣，因為而家成7成8成都係non-local student 係咁，政府就唔得，因為咧本地生唔係咁多人報。好啦，咁我另一個 option 就係話，我哋會唔會 review 個 funding policy， 即係話你係 non-local student 咧，你係 cost recovery 收翻去貴啲學費啦。咁新加坡或者其他國家都係咁噶。咁你如果嚟讀咧，你就可能要諗其他獎學金。
譬如話或者可以咁，或者呢個提出去俾 education panel 可以 研究或者擺上去嗰個議案嗰度。但今日咧，我哋純粹呢個今日香港大學嚟咧，就係關於3個碩士嘅學位喺度。就因為佢法例上佢需要個，同埋咧要經過咗呢個大學嗰個事務委員係咪嗰個叫 council 叫咩？校務委員會，校務委員會同意咗，又去 Senate 嗰度又睇過，所以我哋針對翻喺呢3個碩士學位嗰度好唔好啊？係葉建。
我想回應Alan 嘅其實，咁佢就咗，因為咧其實頭先講到嗰個英語作為第二語言嘅教學嗰個課程咧，教學咧其實都好睇嗰個地區嗰個特色嘅，咁所以咧好多時候咧教學資格咧都唔可以話喺甲嘅地方受訓完之後咧去乙嘅地方嗰度教書，咁所以咧其實咧係喺個課程上邊咧有區分。唔同地方嘅需要咧，呢個其實喺教育上面咧係有佢嘅道理嘅嚇。咁我想即係同阿梁家傑議員講嘅，咁我走咗都唔緊要嘅，我諗。唔係，即係我都係同意梁家傑，即係有個選擇性就喺個學生嗰度。就算即係有個選擇性喺度咧，雖然佢係從一個教學嘅角度去睇，即係我都係，即係我頭先我理解到，所以佢喺個教學嗰度個選擇，即係我哋不嬲都話而家要一個，但係咧佢如果有一個篩選嘅情況，就係要有一個公平、公開、公正嘅角度去睇啦。咁咧，即係你係完咗，即係睇下香港大學係一個學位喺度，而係令到第啲即係香港本地學生係入唔到去。如果佢有個意願入去，咁咧即又係好似乎好難去解釋。因為就算佢唔係用公帑嘅錢，但係佢大學本身就公帑嘅資助。公帑嘅地，香港資源嚟，所以即係喺呢度頭先Professor Andrew 都解釋咗，我哋都接受，因為即係呢個純粹係去勸喻去做。如果佢真係要做嘅，佢咪要靠佢自己嘅能力去入與唔入得嗰度嚇。 主席，我好欣賞你即係主張公平公正、冇不合理篩選呢個精神嘅。咁咧就
啲係另外一件事啊。
就住剛才嗰個問題咧，我即係想補充一點咧，就係。其實咧睇譬如話香港本地嘅學生想報讀呢個課程嘅話咧，我覺得有一種情況咧，其實都應該積極考慮嘅，就係佢可能係諗住去內地教書都未定嘅嚇。如果佢嗰個目的係即係有咁嘅方向嘅話咧，或者係喺香港以外地方教書啊嚇，咁佢其實都係好值得係去被吸納嘅。國際
市民啫，
係啦，冇錯啦嚇。咁大致上就咁樣。
多謝係。冇其他問題咧，我哋進入去第2部分，好唔好啊？好。第2部分我哋就係睇一睇呢個立法會文件 CB 41088/1415 02。我哋睇咗嗰度咧，或者我哋咁今次我係希望，如果係我可以今日做完佢，唔使開多次會，因為咁我陣間可以個時間表我講一講。大家有冇呢份文件？Professor Andrews, I just refer to that we now go to LC paper CB 41088/1415 to Henry。有冇呢份文件啊？我哋呢個嚇，唔該同事，因為呢個就係你哋個 University Hong Kong Ordinance，University of Hong Kong Ordinance 嚟嘅。
佢好似有個 mark up version， 我哋冇。
係有個 mark up version 喺度。唔緊要啊嚇 ，Henry 你有，俾幾位教授都未有嚇，唔係我再高呼咗嚇，夠唔夠啊？俾3個 professor， 因為佢哋都要兩個 professor 啊 doctor 好添啊，唔緊要。呢個我哋即係 OK， 我哋睇第1頁嗰度咧，就係呢個香港大學嘅條例嗰度嗰度咧，第1頁就係冇嘢改嘅。第2頁咧都係冇嘢講，關於呢個學士、碩士學位唔同嘅碩士學位。第3嗰度咧就只係1頁嘅啫。呢個係頁咧，各位同事睇睇咧， 就係一個 markup copy 嚟，即係已經係有嘢要加入去裏邊嘅。加入去裏邊咧，就係喺個第三頁嗰個裏邊咧，就係加入咗頭先講嗰個英文嗰個 Master of Arts in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages、Master of Clinical Pharmacy 同埋 Master of Expressive Arts Therapy。咁咧，呢3樣嘢加咗入去啫。咁我哋有冇問題？頭先已經解釋咗呢3個碩士嘅學位嘅資料啦。咁而家我哋就係入翻落去條例嗰度。呢位，我俾份你，我份你，睇睇第3頁嗰度 markup copy。喺我哋嗰啲文件裏邊有嘅。第1頁係冇嘢嘅，第1頁咧就係講啲學士同埋碩士學位，第2頁就係講碩士嘅學位嗰啲，第3頁咧就係講都係碩士學位喺個 B 嗰段 master degree 即係碩士學位嗰度咧，就加咗呢個3個頭先嗰3個碩士嘅課程，應該冇嘢啦嚇。冇嘢，咁如果冇嘢咧，我就睇一睇我哋嗰個時間表。我哋時間表，呢個時間表咧就睇一睇。如果你各位睇俾嗰2位議員，我哋而家講緊嗰個係 CB 41088 14至1501文件。呢個時間表咧就係咁。就幾時16？就係咧，我哋係去到6。一咁可唔可以就令到呢個可以，因為而家啲時間都係好擠迫啊！立法會咧，如果我哋可以大家我哋2位同事或者其他同事咧，可以俾我哋可以喺呢個禮拜5咧，就口頭報告俾呢個內會裏邊，有冇反對？意見？冇反對，多謝。咁咧，然後咧，我哋希望咧，就係呢審核嘅時間咧，就係去到17號，6月17號。咁然後我哋就交上去大會，就希望去到幾時啊？呢個就個時間表，我睇唔好意思啊嚇。唔力聲個審議期係喺6月17號，咁我哋跟住就去到嗰個上大會嘅時間就係。都係17號，去到6月17號，如果可以入到去嗰個時間表裏邊，好唔好啊？by negative 即係呢個 negative rating 嗰度啊 ，professor 唔係淨係你答㗎，我哋好多時諗咗英文就講，要講中文唔夠快住，所以係碧雲。
主席啊，就6月17號嗰日又大日子啊，你知，即係政改嗰個議案就嗰日開始上台。
譬如話 negative rating 係 OK 嘅，冇嘢嘅。
即係佢會唔會擺喺嗰個議程，擺喺政改嗰個議案之前定之後，會唔會影響佢嗰個時間？
呢個 negative rating 係之前嘅嚇。我係冇修訂啊嘛。
即係會先個政改個辯論之前。即係如果唔係，起碼3日。
都唔緊要，我哋即係過咗，但係我哋唔想拖住個時間啫嚇。係。
呢個係一個先訂立後審議嘅附屬法例嚟嘅，已經訂立咗。如果到審議期完，即係已經講緊6月17號嗰日咧，議員冇修訂冇提修訂咧，咁就已經係訂立咗。咁就喺條例裏面講係咪7月10號啊就會生效㗎啦？
唔係7月8號。
對唔住，7月8號。
7月8號就係 OK 咁就係如果係冇其他嘅問題，今日嗰個會議我哋可以開完啦。多謝各位 ，Thank you everybody, thank you for coming and explain to us.
多謝各位。
Professor, sorry that we have to ask the question because we have a member here who should protect Hong Kong students in.
Thank you.
啱啊，飛雲。多謝 ，Thank you.